Chris, obviously, Naquan Brown was committed elsewhere for a long time. So, how quickly did things come about to, get back in contact with him?
I stayed contact with him for most of the period, the recruiting period. So, I think I had offered him, at the other place I was at too. So it was one of those things. We've had a long relationship. So when things kind of went a different way there, I wanted to try to be there to pick up the pieces, and that happened pretty quick after that.
You've been you're a Virginia guy and you coach high school football in Virginia, Chris. Uh, do you have on a first name basis with a lot of those coaches down there? Is that part of the reason you're able to take some of these kids from Virginia and Virginia Tech?
I think so. Relationships, recruiting is relationships. That's what it is. Obviously, I know that a lot of those coaches really well. Everywhere I've been, I've always tried to recruit down there. That's home for me. So it's an area of the country that's got great football. And they've got great coaches too. And I understand that, respect that, and I think they know that that I do. So they always want to send me guys, and I'm happy to have them when we can get them. So.
Much has continuity in the staff helped when you're recruiting, especially the last couple of years here?
I think it helps. I mean, it's always good to have the same people. So, like I said earlier, recruiting is relationships, and so the longer you can develop those relationships, and over the more time that you have to do it, gives you more of a chance to be successful in recruiting and anything else too. Because kind of what you're getting into. You kind of know how the other people think and what people really think of you over time, as opposed to just something that happened overnight. So I think those things all go together. Continuity is a big deal.
Does Jaden Bradley bring something different that maybe you haven't had at least this past year, just from his pure physical size?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you start putting together what your recruiting board or what your room wants to look like. I want to be as fast as we can. I think we added some speed last year with Jordan and Jalen. The first thing we wanted to try to do this year is to get somebody to go with Jared and somebody in that kind of mold. And so he was one of the guys I targeted early, as far as recruiting goes, and we as a staff, felt like he would be a good fit, and he does give us something different in that room, particularly what we got last year with the speed guys that we got. He's a different element.
With someone like Jaden, I mean, he played quarterback growing up. He's kind of new to receiver, and he didn't have a season this year. So, what kind of advantages or disadvantages does that have? Are you able to kind of, maybe shake some bad habits with him, or just start with new ones with him?
Yeah, I have always liked recruiting quarterbacks, no matter what position I'm recruiting them for. Because I think those guys are more cerebral. They have to think the game through. So you're getting somebody that has seen a bigger picture than just, hey, I run the post on this. He understands, okay, this is how a route concept is put together. So those guys, football is slowed down a little bit for quarterbacks more so than some other positions. So I've always liked recruiting quarterbacks at receiver or DB or wherever. So I do think he's got some ability that hasn't been tapped yet, and so I kind of like not having to break some habits. But I also know the people that have worked with him really well. Coach Fred and the guys at DeMatha, they've done a great job with him. He sends me videos and stuff to check him out. So you get a chance to see what he does. Obviously, they post everything nowadays, so you get a chance to see how he's developed over the last year. And so I'm really excited to be able to work with him and for his future.
Chris, is there a wide receiver currently on your roster that you kind of liken to what maybe Miles does best, and just the way that he operates as a receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a little bit of Trey Tip in him. He's a long strider, but he's got quick feet. He's got really good length because I think, he's 6'1". I've seen him listed, several different heights. He's all of 6'1" with really long arms. So that length is something that's important. Gives you a chance to separate. he's more of a glider than he is a flat out burner. But I think he does a nice job in transitioning in and out of his routes. So hopefully I think he can be a healthy Trey Tipton as opposed to some of the injuries that Trey's had to endure.
I assume you got a pretty happy group of receivers on the current squad after last night's news. What does that do for these guys going into next year to have Kenny Pickett back?
That's huge. I mean, that's the biggest signee of the class right there. So, I mean, he's our leader, and the confidence that Kenny brings is immense. I mean, you could tell that, from the time when he's not out on the field. So, the receiver room is happy about it. The O-line room is happy about it, and the whole building is happy about it because I think he makes us a better team, clearly.
Coach, has DJ told you officially what he is doing? Any chance that he returns for next year?
We've discussed it. We've talked at length about it for really over the last week. So, I'll let him go through his process that he needs to go through to figure out what he wants to do. But we've been in contact. I actually talked to him maybe an hour ago, 2 hours ago now. So he's still in the process of mulling over his decision. I think Kenny, he's really your best recruiter right now. People have confidence in him. So we'll see where that goes. But I don't want to comment one way or the other as far as what he's leaning.